You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
Black and White Network supporters, make sure you go over and check out the Black and White Network merchandise store. 25% off USA First. 25% off USA First. Go now. All right, folks, we're going to dive a little more into this Dan Snyder situation involving this ESPN report that came out that he was keeping records and even may have hired private investigators to get dirt on other NFL owners as a ploy to possibly eventually keep his NFL team. One of those people, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones, somebody who Dan Snyder has always been friends with. Their families literally vacation together. Well, Jerry Jones has come out and made some official comments about the situation involving Dan Snyder. And very astutely, somebody caught something on Pro Football Talk involving one of the sources, one of the writers on ESPN, and Jerry Jones. And so it has now led to some speculation that maybe Jerry Jones was one of the sources for the ESPN story on Dan Snyder. So we'll get to both of those, and let's take a look at this. This is Fox News. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones downplays reported issues with Dan Snyder. Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones shrugged off the notion of a possible rift between him and Commanders owner Daniel Snyder. The update on the two owners' relationship comes on the heels of an ESPN report claiming Snyder told an associate he had, quote, dirt on Jones. Snyder also told another associate he had enough information to, quote, blow up Jones, several other NFL owners, and NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, and asserted, quote, they can't F with me, ESPN reported. Now, this is what Jones said. Quote, anything in that was news to me, of course. Jones said during his weekly radio appearance on 105.3 The Fan in Dallas. I don't have those kind of problems. Oh, geez. Jones has been known to be one of Snyder's closest allies over the years. But according to ESPN, Jones recently said privately that he, quote, might not be able to continue to protect Snyder. The Commanders and team owner Daniel Snyder have come under fire over several years amid allegations the organization fostered a toxic workplace environment. The NFL owners are scheduled to meet in New York City next week, but a discussion regarding Snyder's status as an owner is not officially on the agenda. At least 24 owners would need to vote against Snyder in order for him to be removed. Jones made it clear he still has a relationship with Snyder. Quote, I've got a long relationship with Dan. It's certainly a competitive one on the field and one that is part of the NFL. Snyder purchased the Washington franchise in '99. Meanwhile, Jones had already owned a team for several years. Jones reportedly took on a mentorship role with Snyder during his first few seasons as the Washington team boss. Jones is widely regarded as one of the league's most influential owners. Jones and Snyder has been vacationing together with their respective families over the years. In 2010, they filmed a commercial together. Jones mentioned that a close relationship between owners is not common. Quote, they are just not because of the competitive aspect and what it means to individual owners to compete and represent those various NFL teams. It's not a natural partnership at all, but that still doesn't mean you don't have a lot of respect for owners, and I do. Thursday report also revealed that Snyder is believed to have told another confidant, quote, the NFL is the mafia, and all other owners hate each other. To which another unnamed team owner told ESPN that the report was false and all the owners just hate Dan. Oh, wow. Snyder's legal representatives and Commander's spokesperson vehemently denied the assertions in the report. This is categorically false. Brownlee and Nash is said of one of the dossiers claims to ESPN. He has no dossiers compiled on any owners. Now let's get to this because this is a very interesting tidbit that was discovered. It is right down here. It's hard to believe that Jones was clueless about the substance of the ESPN report. Both Jones and team spokesperson officially denied comment to the ESPN for report. Sometimes that's cover for plenty of off-the-record information. As one high-level source with one of the NFL's teams pointed out to PFT, one of the 3 ESPN.com writers whose name appears on the story, Don Van Natta Jr., has a photo of himself with Jones at the top of his Twitter page. And let's just check that out. There it is, right there. Right there. That's the ESPN writer and Jerry Jones. Oh, that's pretty interesting. The source firmly, listen to this, the source firmly believes Jones was a source for the story. At minimum, Van Natta reasonably would have communicated with Jones regarding the situation. Jones officially denies that he supplied anything to the ESPN. What's the point of being off-the-record source? However, the person is later going to admit it on the record. Yeah, I mean, that's right. I know a lot of people get driven nuts by off-the-record sources, but let's face it. If there wasn't for off-the-record sources, you'd have no news. You'd have no stories. Nobody would ever break anything, okay? They are the most valuable component in any story like this, plain and simple. This is interesting because Jones and Snyder have been very close, and now we're discovering there's a very, very good chance Jerry Jones was actually one of the sources in the ESPN report that kind of exploded the world the other day. It contained all kinds of things, including, I did a story yesterday, it was about Ron Rivera's meltdown, where supposedly he didn't want Carson Wentz, but Daniel Snyder did. And look, that's why the Commanders are dumpster fires, because Snyder can't stay out of football operations, not to mention all the other drama going on. Okay, plus his FedEx Field is running down. They got sewer leaks when fans are in there, and all kinds of just craziness surrounding the team. I've got another story that's coming on the other sports channel involving Dan Snyder and John Gruden, and it's a big one. It's a very big one. So, I mean, I read that and was like, well, that kind of makes sense, actually, involving Gruden. As you know, on this channel, we think John Gruden got screwed. I mean, you're letting him go over something that happened years and years ago, even supposedly something that happened. It was all before he was back in the NFL. He was still with ESPN. And I just think, you know, John Gruden was a victim of cancel culture. But it's pretty widely known. I mean, Jerry Jones has the most pull of any owner in the NFL, even more than Robert Kraft. You know, he was the driving force behind the Rams moving out of St. Louis to L.A. because Jones convinced Roger Goodell that they absolutely needed a team in L.A. Because of the size of the market, even though they don't draw great on home crowds. Like, the home crowds are largely the opponent's home crowd. But to Jones, that didn't matter because the TV market is so large in L.A., and him and Stan Kroenke are very close, just like him and Dan Snyder. Him and Dan Snyder look like they're a lot closer than that. So we may have a betrayal situation here. Okay, we may have a situation where the Cowboys owner supplied some of the goods over to ESPN for this story on Daniel Snyder. Yeah, Cowboys-Redskins, still a rivalry, regardless. This is crazy. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.